Let's take a look at list boxes. In your text, it's page 256, and it's figure 4.31. And it's a list box example. So we want to create a label. And the label we want to say dogs on the label. Let's see if we can pull this over. Okay, instead of label 1, we want it to say dogs. And then we're going to create a second label. But let's do the list box first. Okay, so there's dogs. And we come over to the right and the left, and we want to do list box. Again, it is one of the common controls, so there is our list box here. Now if we look over in the far right and choose list box, it says collection. So it is there that we need to type in the values. Okay, so we click on the ... and here's our collection. It says enter our collection, so we're going to say Poodle and Great Dane. These are examples of dog breeds. German Shepherd and Terrier. So that allows us to enter the items. So there we have the items in the list box. Then we have, we want to put another label here. So let's select a label. And this we want to say cats. So we go over to the right with our label. Instead of label 2, we want it to say cats. And we're going to do a list box again. So we choose a list box. Again, we pull it down, and over in the items collection is where we click the ... and this is where we're going to enter values here. So let's see. Siamese, Persian, Bobtail, and Burmese. So we say OK for our example. That's our list box. If we change the size of our list box, notice that it gets us a up-down arrow, which allows us to be able to select a value. So if you look in the results of what we want to happen, I'm just going to put a button here. And I'm going to say, just on the button, I want to say just GO. Okay. So on this button, when we select the values, we want to say go. So one of the things, just want to introduce you to two different properties here, and that is the selected item property. So let's go here. I want to just put a documentation here. It's called the selected item property. Okay. So we're checking the selected item in the list box. So our list box, again, for dogs, let's see what the list box is called. It's probably by default list box 1. So now we go back and we check and see list box 1. So list box 1. There it is, list box 1. Dot selected item. So we're seeing which item selected. And the item that's selected, we want to change that to a string, so a toString. Okay. And that is a method call. So we want to say, let's do int, no, we'll do string breed. Okay. And we'll say this is the dog breed selected. And here in this, we would say the breed is equal to the selected item of the list box changed to a string. Because the selected item is an index, and it lets us know which item is selected. And that's also another property. So now let's do if list box 1 selected index. The selected index tells us which item is selected, and we check and see if it's not equal to -1. If the selected index is equal to -1, that means that there was no item selected. So if it's not equal to -1, then we can actually place this here. That means there was a selection that took place. So two things here. Selected item, that's the index. It tells us which one was selected. Again, -1 means there's no item selected. So if no item selected, we won't be able to get the breed. And we can continue on with this example for list box 2, which is the cat list box. So let's just look back there and see what that looks like. So here's our example. So nothing again will happen until we select go. And that's where we were working on there. And go, we were getting the breed, and we could say message box dot show breed. And let's just run this and see what happens here. Okay, it's something that was not right. List box example page. Okay, 20. So it doesn't like that. Okay, so that means that that's probably not a string. But you get the point of what happens here. We change the item to a string, and then we print the value out. Let's just fix this example. In fixing the example, I had messagebox.show out here. The problem was that if I didn't select something, it still would check it for the breed, and there would not be a breed selected. So I placed those in begin in pairs. So let's just briefly run the example and slide this over so you can see. So the selected breed right here for German Shepherd, and we'd say go, would be German Shepherd. If we want to do one also for list box 2, we can do that as well. So that completes our example with the list box.